on May 18th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. and will be hosted by 5-Star, the McCarthy Project, and Grassroots Hoops. For more information on the camp, visit themccarthyproject.com/5-star. XL Athlete is the leading provider of online strength and conditioning and speed development camps. For more information on their training programs and speed development camps, visit xlathlete.com. We are excited to offer the following products on the McCarthyStore.com. Innovate Running Shoes, the leader in barefoot and natural running technology. We carry the full line of sizes and colors. Berkey Water Filters, the leader in anti-gravity water filtration. For more information, visit themccarthyproject.com or go directly to the McCarthy Project store website. That's www.themccarthyprojectstore.com. You are listening to the McCarthy Project live from Minnesota, where we have been attacking life and sports since 2001. Well, good morning, everybody. This is Stephen McCarthy from the McCarthy Project. Again, just getting back with you. We apologize for all the technical difficulties we've just had, but this is, I think we're good now. I have spoken with Stephenie. She'll be touching base with us here in a couple of minutes. Again, let's just kind of recap where we're going today. We're going to be talking with Stephenie Freemen of Stephenie Chasing Boston. She has been pursuing her goal of running in the Boston Marathon after being in a serious car accident as a young lady. So it's going to be fantastic. She was up there on some other business, and so she's going to be sharing with us what happened to her, and she's got some really cool other projects that she's been working on as well. In the second segment, we're going to have Kamal McElwain, who is a pro football player for the Carolina Panthers, and he's going to be talking about life in football, but not in the sense that we're going to hear about how, you know, he came off the street and was homeless and all that kind of stuff. More about what is the real life like in football, and what things people should know about football that are different than just some drama. So we are excited to have him be coming on the show probably in about half hour, 45 minutes or so. So with that, we are going to move over and chat with Stephenie. Like I mentioned earlier, Stephenie has a goal of running in the Boston Marathon and is pursuing that goal. And you were actually up there this week. How are you doing today, Stephenie?
I'm doing good. Yes, I was up there for the run this weekend.
It is almost like we talked earlier. So how's your week gone? You know, I think that was a good.
That's what I said. A little tragic.
Exactly.
It was heartbreaking.
Exactly. And the funny thing is it really is, when something like that happens. Did you feel the surrealness of it all? It's like, did that just happen? It's like
I had no idea what had just happened. I was in amazement. I was in shock. I was speechless.
Did you now? So okay, I know you've probably gone over the story about a bazillion times already, but would you mind going over and kind of telling us what happened? You know, on the day and what happened. I mean, if you don't mind, I know that's always a
not at all
question. You know what I mean? But go ahead.
Well, I was sitting at the finish line with some friends, and we sat there and watched Shalane come in. We watched all the elite athletes come through, and then the first wave started running through, and we decided to move up to probably around mile 25 and a half. We stood there and the later wave on in, and we decided to take a late lunch at the Prudential Center up the road. We were sitting having pizza in the Prudential Center, and we heard a boom. It sounded like two cars colliding together. And it wasn't that as loud, but everyone in the food court started running to the windows and seeing what was going on. And then about 10 seconds later, a second boom, and it was the loudest, most tragic thing I've ever heard in my life. The whole mall, food court and all, was stampeded. I heard children screaming. Everybody was screaming. Children were screaming. I saw kids run slap over, and I had to jump over a table to get out of that building. And we ran straight back to mile 25 and a half because that was where that was right up from the mall.
Okay.
And the runners were coming up the hill, and they were coming up the hill, and we had to push them back and they were unaware of what was happening. You could start seeing the smoke, but they were unaware of what was going on, and they just kept saying, "What's going on? What's going on?" And we just had to direct them and push them all back because they were still coming through. It was really.
So really the only people that really understood were people that were right on, I guess, ground zero, if that makes sense.
Right.
Everybody else was still kind of in a fog going, well, what's going on?
Right, because we were at that mall, and that first boom sounded just like two cars slamming together. But that second one, immediately we knew something big was happening, something awful.
Interesting.
It was terrifying.
So so where did you go from there? What did you continue just to talk around? Did you have to? Did information come? How did?
We continued to push runners back because there were so many runners still coming up unaware of anything. But I have to say this, I was very proud to be an American that day because the military, police department, fire department, everyone was spot on when that happened. When they started running in and taking over things, we decided to head on back to the closest motel. My friend's motel was the Sheridan, which is through the Prudential Center, and a lot of other runners were there too. What we did was sat in that lobby and watched a repeat of all the events on big screen TV. That motel was on lockdown, surrounded by the SWAT team. We couldn't get out for hours.
Interesting. So how long before the military actually kind of moved into action, I guess, is probably the best way to put it.
I would say by the time we got to 25 and a half, they were moving in, but they started just really coming in.
Interesting.
I would say, yes, really coming in. It was amazing. I was so proud to be an American that day.
Cool. And then now that you've had a little time to kind of reflect on it, and you had mentioned that you're probably one of the few people that actually can say that you actually saw what happened. How do you is there any other things that have come to light after you've had time to reflect upon it, outside of the things you mentioned?
Well, I'm not sure if it's post-traumatic syndrome I've been going through. I've cried a lot. I don't know, really. I just feel a heartbreak for these innocent people that they've lost their legs and they were only running and doing what they love to do. It was awful, and that's my dream, and those was to run those roads and seeing people that were doing that and got hurt. It was heartbreaking for me.
And it really does, if you take the time to slow down, and I don't have any, other than we had another guest, Ann Westling, who actually was doing the run news for Triathlete Magazine. She was actually there as well. And it was an amazing amount of, sadness, because it's like that's the type of thing that happened in other countries, not in our country. You know what I mean? Where it came home for the first time. And I think that's the thing that really hit me, was it's so easy to disconnect when, that just happens in Israel, or that just happens in Russia, but now we're talking, this is in the United States, these types of things. And that's, I think, the thing that really shook me is okay, this is close now. You know what I mean?
I still can't believe this has really happened. I was in shock. I can't believe it. This was the Boston Marathon. I mean, you and I both know this is the Super Bowl of marathons.
Yes.
that we worked so hard for and trained so hard for to get into. And we get there, and some crazy person tries to kill us when we get there.
And that's the truth. And that's when you get down to the simple reality of it all. That's it. Is that why? That's the ultimate piece. Is why? Why? You know, and go ahead.
I don't understand, but I have to say that the BAA worked so hard on that run. They are so involved, and I'm a part of Team Saucony, and Team Saucony puts their heart and soul into that expo. Everybody works so hard and so dedicated to that race. It's the oldest and most prestigious race in the world, marathon, in our nation. So when that happened, it was heartbreaking to see Mr. Dave McGolvery out there, but he has been really working hard since all of this has happened.
That's just amazing. What do you think what are the plans, of the I guess the organizing committee or the planners behind the Boston Marathon? What have they been talking about that they're going to do, or what is it that they're thinking, do you think?
I haven't heard anything yet, but I mean, it's going to carry on, and I hope to be there next year.
It's true, and it's funny because it really, it's kind of funny because so much, and you're probably one of the few people that could really understand this, when something in your life could be potentially taken away that maybe wasn't of your doing. You know what I mean? You were, as a young lady, in a car accident,
Right.
And so I'm sure hits even closer than somebody that's lived in the suburbs their whole life and never gotten in an accident and lived a perfect life, so to speak.
Right.
How I just thought about that, is that it would probably be hit more closer to you than anybody else.
Really, it really has. I mean, this is I feel very passionately for these people, because these people, some of these runners that have run their whole life, lost their legs that day. They'll never be able to walk again. It's not going to be the same for them. And to have something taken away from you, and if you have to work so hard for, it's I don't know how to even explain it.
Yeah, and you felt it. So you're like, I mean, it's something so deep down inside. You know what I mean? That I can't even. I guess I mean, you get lost for words to try to even ask a question. That what you would have to go through, to, like, when we had the tornado in Rogers, which is the nearest experience I can say to something like this. Where we were sitting in our house just watching TV, and then we felt something like a pressure drop, and we said, okay, I think it's time for us to go downstairs. And about halfway down the stairs, you could hear this whoosh, and that was it. And then we thought, well, that was weird. But then when we walked up, our whole neighborhood had just got wiped off the map, so to speak. And then there was a death. One of the young children was either going up or down the stairs trying to get to a safe spot and didn't make it. And it was very, very traumatic in the sense that one day we're all standing out in the yard, and then the next day, our houses are all in shambles. And it's so surreal. And the thing I actually have to admit too, it is amazing in America how helpful people really are. Because, I mean, we had, within 2 days, because with a tornado, obviously there's windows out and everything, but we had people on their knees in our yard picking glass, trying to make sure that, obviously, if there's any glass, kids are going to go out and run in the yard, and then they're going to cut their feet, and I was blown away that, I mean, here we are just 2 people in Rogers, and there's people out there on their knees, hands and knees in the grass, picking junk so that we can live life. So I agree with you there. I think there really is a spirit within the United States or within American people, and I'm sure that's probably with every country, but that people really do deep down want to help, and they really do feel sorrow when something does happen.
Yeah, it was nice to see everyone just rushing to help those people, and no one really knew what was happening.
That's what, so it literally took you getting back into the hotel and getting back in front and getting some news to actually find out what actually did happen.
I mean, we didn't know what it was. We heard everyone say bomb, 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 but we didn't know until we saw the smoke, and then when we got back to the motel and was sitting on the lobby floor with the rest of the people, we realized this was happening. These people, I mean, people did lose their lives at the all-famous finish line of the Boston Marathon.
Unbelievable.
Since that happened, there was a little boy there that was 8 years old, and he lost his life just cheering his dad on for the finish line. And since then, I took the week off, and I've spent all I can with my son. Matter of fact, I'm here now at the school having lunch with him.
I think and it's funny because it really does bring the busyness of life into perspective. When unfortunately, it's almost like in America, you need to have a traumatic event. You can't just be regular everyday life. And I still remember that day too, because in the day that we had the tornado, our house was luckily one that it's like God had basically the tornado had gone up the front took our porch off the front, went over the house, and took the porch off the back and left our house. So it was really an amazing event, while everybody else around us had like holes in their roof and all this kind of stuff. So really, it does definitely put things in perspective for sure. So
it really does.
Anything else? Yeah. Anything else to kind of finalize? I know it's amazing how time flies, when you get chatting. But
well, everybody, when you take your runs or do whatever it is you do, let's just all dedicate that to Boston. Those people really suffered a lot. And
absolutely.
If we can raise money, do whatever we can to get some help for these people, let's do what we can. I'm going to be doing some 5Ks, and I'm going to have a team, Stephenie, taking Boston to raise some money for these people. So let's do what we can.
Because I really think that this is the part that I think if we... Here, I'm going to let's go to a quick break, and I'm going to kind of give you a little bit of information what I've been thinking, and I think it's important in this whole thing, is somehow to get people organized and working together rather than being so concerned about just giving money necessarily, that we actually work together on things, and that it brings us closer together. You know what I mean? Not just, I'm sure somebody could rip off a check for $1 million or something like that, and it would help a lot of people. But it's almost like too surface. There's got to be some reason to bring us together, to unite, to come together in a common cause, that we drop whether we're a Republican, a Democrat, a liberal, all that kind of stuff. But we just got to find out that this is something that needs to happen. So let's talk about that when we come back after the break.
Okay.
Because I think you're onto something. I really do.
I do too.
Something that we need to work on.
I've contacted my Stephenie team about getting together something for that. And it's so much. It's funny because we have to unite somewhere. We got to stop fighting each other. You know what I mean? We're, like the Trayvon Martin thing. Now anybody with a hoodie, you're thinking bad things about. And it's like, let's just put it all down and let's work together. You know what I mean? And I totally agree with that.
Yes. Cool. All right, hold on. We're going to a commercial break, and then we're going to talk more about. So I think unity is the key in this thing. So.
Absolutely.
5-Star Basketball, the leader in basketball instruction and camps, endorsed by Michael Jordan, Dick Vitale, and Hubie Brown, and where the teaching never stops. 5-Star Basketball Minnesota will be hosting a one-day instructional camp on May 18th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. and will be hosted by 5-Star, the McCarthy Project, and Grassroots Hoops. For more information on the camp, visit themccarthyproject.com/5-star. XL Athlete is the leading provider of online strength and conditioning and speed development camps. For more information on their training programs and speed development camps, visit xlathlete.com. We are excited to offer the following products on the McCarthyStore.com. Innovate Running Shoes, the leader in barefoot and natural running technology. We carry the full line of sizes and colors. Berkey Water Filters, the leader in anti-gravity water filtration. For more information, visit themccarthyproject.com or go directly to the McCarthy Project store website. That's www.themccarthyprojectstore.com. Alrighty, we are back. This is Stephen McCarthy. We are with Stephenie Freemen of Stephenie Chasing Boston. And we had just kind of hit on something at the end of that last little segment. And Stephenie mentioned that she's under a little bit of a tight schedule and that she'd be willing to come back. And I think this is really something important. You know, when an event like this happens, that it doesn't divide, that it brings closer together, and that we stay on that unification or that unity type of a movement. And so she's going to stay for a couple more minutes. And gosh, what can you accomplish in 2 minutes when you talk about unity? That we'd like to do it, I guess. You know what I mean? Give us your thoughts, what you're kind of developing out, and then we'd love to be part of that. I think that's something that you can get behind, and and you know what I mean.
Well, what I'm looking to do is I've been asked to be a team leader of a local 5K here in South Georgia, and I'm going to unite a Stephenie Chasing Boston team, and I want to get money together or whatever it is that is for these people of Boston that have hurt and gone through so much, because I saw all that stuff.
That's just amazing, and I think that if like I say, we would love to be involved. I could only. It's funny how amazing how all things come together, but literally this week, I feel that unity is the piece that we're missing in America today. We're so divided. Sorry, go ahead.
I agree. I agree with that completely. I think we all need to put aside everything, put aside color, put aside Republican, Democrat, all of that. Put it all aside.
Yes.
This is our country, and
yes.
we need to be proud and work together with each other.
And see, that's the piece. And it's even, I think it's even at another level where, even at the Facebook, Twitter level, you know, I mean, we all use it, and I understand it, I get it, that it's a great communication tool. But I think it, in some ways, divides because that phone gets in between the relationship, and it's a very, like, a hidden invasion, if that's the right way to put it, where that phone becomes more important than the person that you're sitting there next to. You know,
I can agree with. I can relate to that actually.
Right.
I can.
And I'm not saying, like, and I'm going to put this out to everybody. I can't say that my family or myself is perfect, because that's one of the pieces of the puzzle that I haven't figured out. And it's kind of funny because we interviewed a local high school coach that had been coaching for 30 years, one of those kind of things. And he says it's here to stay, but I can't figure out where to place it. You know what I mean? To say, okay, can you only do it for 2 hours? Well, nobody has a phone. Remember when we were kids, we sat and talked on the phone for 2 hours. You know?
I know.
So
how do we live without these things?
But that was different in my mind because you actually were talking to somebody. You know, whereas you see, and it's funny because I used to get mad at my kids because we'd have somebody get in the car with us, and they all be looking at their phone. And I'm like, well, there's somebody in the back seat here. You know, don't you talk to your friend? You know, and it's like confusing me. And I think somehow there's a balance because I understand it, you know, but I also think that we got to find some way to put things down, come over here and say, okay, we're going to go here because we want to. It doesn't need to include a party. It should include a party, but not with drugs and drinking and all this other kind of stuff. It could just be a regular, everyday, you and me having fun.
I feel you.
Okay, good. All right. So my 5 minutes are up, even though I talk more than you, and I think that's unfortunate. But so first of all, where can people get a hold of you if they'd like to get involved in your races?
If they would like to get involved, you can reach me at Stephenie McDuffie at Hotmail, or you could reach me on Facebook at Stephenie, www.facebook.com/Stephenie Chasing Boston. Or you can always reach me on my blog, StephenieChasingBoston.blogspot.com.
Done. All righty, well, have fun today. Enjoy your self-imposed vacation, and and then I'll give you a call later today, and we'll line up some times or any time to come back beginning of next week, because I would really love to hear what you're kind of formulating, and then if there's a way we can be involved, we'd love to.
Okay, thank you so much.
Cool. Have a great day.
You too. Bye-bye.
All righty. We're going to go to a quick break,
okay,
and then we're going to come back and just kind of tie that all together, because I think there is so much to be found in that unification piece. And if we can somehow, unfortunately, an event like this has to happen, or not has to happen, or has happened, but we need to find a way to put down those differences. They just don't make that much of a difference in the end. Sure, do we all want to be right, and we all want to be in a position where we can understand, and we want to feel that our ideas are being heard. But somewhere along the line, it's just people. And I think that is the position of America, where we're not being unified. And that is something that, in sports, I see it all the time, where there's kids coming together or adults coming together, and they're really not on the same team. They're all thinking about themselves. And how do we get that out? How do we get to the point where we can lay down aside, okay, you're good, I'm good. Over, done with. Now let's just go play and have fun. Because that's where I think the love of the game comes in. So with that, we're going to a quick break, and then we'll be back on the other side to talk a little bit more about unity. That's going to be a big subject that we're going to talk about today, and then Kamal will be on the phone here probably about 10 or 15 minutes. So talk to you in about a minute and a half. 5-Star Basketball, the leader in basketball instruction and camps, endorsed by Michael Jordan, Dick Vitale, and Hubie Brown, and where the teaching never stops. 5-Star Basketball Minnesota will be hosting a one-day instructional camp on May 18th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. and will be hosted by 5-Star, the McCarthy Project, and Grassroots Hoops. For more information on the camp, visit themccarthyproject.com/5-star. XL Athlete is the leading provider of online strength and conditioning and speed development camps. For more information on their training programs and speed development camps, visit XLathlete.com. We are excited to offer the following products on the McCarthyStore.com. Innovate Running Shoes, the leader in barefoot and natural running technology. We carry the full line of sizes and colors. Berkey Water Filters, the leader in anti-gravity water filtration. For more information, visit themccarthyproject.com or go directly to the McCarthy Project store website. That's www.themccarthyprojectstore.com. Well, we are back. This is Stephen McCarthy from the McCarthy Project. I cannot even tell you how excited that last interview. That to me is the essence of life. That if you can take the time to put down your innate desire to fight everybody. Does that mean we don't want to compete? I disagree. You do want to compete. But if you're on a team, you have to realize that there was a team, there always seems to be this inner factions within teams where who's the best player, and he's the one that's going to be the Division I athlete, or he's the best athlete, and all the rest to, kind of help him. I remember interviewing Mel Mundy from down in Louisiana, and he had 9 Division I players out of 10 on one team. And I can only imagine how he had to work with those guys to understand that they didn't have to always just take it themselves, and that there were other great players on the thing, and there could be more than one. It didn't just have to be one. And that's the piece to the puzzle that I think so many people are made. We are being so fractured as a society that it gets down into the team level, and the kids can't put down this idea that they have to be the best, and if they're not the number one everything, that they have to give it to the other guy. That no, you actually can compete, and you can be best too, and you can be better in the same way that he can be better. And how to do that in a team atmosphere is through unity. And how do we do that is somehow we have to be able to put down our preconceived ideas of being antagonistic towards others. And I'm not saying that I've been perfect in this thing. I'll have to admit. I have been very much an individualist my whole life. My mom would attest to that my dad would attest to that I always thought that I was right and that you didn't have to tell me twice. But as I've gotten through the years, I really hope that we've changed, or I've changed, to the point where you can have your individual ideas, but it is okay to follow. And if you're in a position that you may be the star player, but you also may need to follow, there might be other great leaders on the team, and they may be better at leadership than you are. And that doesn't mean that you get to go out and dominate just because you're 6 inches taller than everybody else, or weigh 70 pounds heavier, or you're 70 pounds heavier than everybody else. So you could dominate. That you need to figure out how to work life rather than just sport. And I think that's the beauty of our existence as a radio show, our existence as a training company, that is all about life and sport. There's a balance between the two. And the more I talk about it, the more I was never able to figure out how my love for sport, as a sport junkie, as a kid that used to sit there and watch 6 basketball games on a Saturday while everybody else was out playing, how that could ever come to be something of worth. And I actually feel that we're starting to find it here in the McCarthy Project, because we're talking about life, not just drama, and not just the sensational. That life needs to happen, and people need to like I say, unify together into a team. Once that team is built, then you can go on and compete against other teams, and you can compete at a high level. You don't have to be doorknobs or talk trash all the time. No, that's half the fun if you want to. I'm not saying you're bad if you do, because I actually like to talk while I'm playing too. But I just don't. It's not an attack in a sense that I'm very angry with you and that I'm going to take you down. Yes, but you also have to realize that once you walk off the court, you're friends again. And I think that is a whole piece where people need to understand that society as a whole is breaking down, and we need to come back and be unified. So hopefully that little rant helps somebody. I see it. It just makes total sense to me. Unity is the piece. Somehow we have to find something to unify us. There are lots of things that could, but if we take the time to research it and find the truth, then I think we'll find that piece to the puzzle that will bring that unification. We'll be able to drop our guards and trust and work together within that team, work within that group, and then we'll be able to accomplish things that are far greater than even I think I'm thinking now. So with that, we're going to go to a quick break, and we'll come back and just chat a little bit more and have fun. I think this is all a part about McCarthy Project and attacking life and sport. All those pieces wrapped into one. So I'm very excited. I look forward to talking again right after the break. Five Star Basketball, the leader in basketball instruction and camps, Endorsed by Michael Jordan, Dick Vitale, and Hubie Brown, and where the teaching never stops. 5-Star Basketball Minnesota will be hosting a one-day instructional camp on May 18th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. and will be hosted by 5-Star, the McCarthy Project, and Grassroots Hoops. For more information on the camp, visit themccarthyproject.com/5-star. XL Athlete is the leading provider of online strength and conditioning and speed development camps. For more information on their training programs and speed development camps, visit xlathlete.com. Alrighty, we are back. This is Stephen McCarthy from the McCarthy Project. Chris Swarthout will not be able to be with us again today. Unfortunately, You've Gotta Love Life is that he is actually organizing a 5K race this weekend, and I could only imagine how that's going to come off, if it is going to come off at all. Like I mentioned earlier, we've had probably almost a foot of snow, and it's snowing again today. So I can only imagine what he's going through this week. So he's been very tied up, more so than normal. So we did been chatting along the way. So unfortunately, he won't be with us this week. Look forward to having him back next week. And back to the film of the day and having fun with all those different kind of cool things and his great jokes. Honestly, those are the things I miss most. The film of the day, I never thought I'd say that, and then also the one-liners that only Mr. Swarthout can say. So with that, that's a little update on Chris. And now, so coming, kind of having some little updates, little commercials, little cool stuff that we got going on. We are going to be still on task for the May 18th basketball camp in Minnesota with 5-Star. It has gone really, really well. The space is becoming more limited and more limited every day. We're probably about 75% full at this point. So if you are interested and you're in Minnesota, go to our website, themccarthyproject.com, and there's a tab called 5-Star. You'll get all the information on there. And I really would challenge people to come to the camp to understand what it takes to compete. I can't even convey to you what 5-Star is, and I think that is what makes it different, is that you're going to go in there and there's going to be a level of competition, not so much even between player to player, but from the staff. We've put together a fantastic staff, from AAU guys to high school coaches that really understand how to teach and really want to convey that information to you. So it's going to be an instructional camp. There may be a couple of games in there, but it's going to be basically instructional. And we're going to be talking about some of these things and bringing the wood. And so if you are an elite player or want to pursue that, becoming an elite player, you need to get a hold of us as soon as possible. And that's 612-741-0982. If you have any questions that are maybe not answered on the phone, but on the show or on the website, please give us a call. I would love to hear from you. I'm just telling you, you guys got to be there. If you're looking to pursue elite performance in basketball, that's the place to be on May 18th. So with that, other pieces to the puzzle. We are working on some different things. Ustream. So if you are interested in seeing what we actually look at, rather than simply listening to us on the show, you could go to Ustream. Let's just see here. Let's actually get the Ustream.tv and then type in the McCarthy Project. We are actually live. At this point, it's just simply me and having a video on me because we've been testing it this week. It seems to have worked as we had hoped. And hopefully next week we'll be able to add in guests, have them call in through Skype, and then you'll be able to actually see them talking, which I think would be a fun thing to actually get a feel for what you miss so much with the radio. I mean, I know that there's the theater of the mind, and the radio really has all those types of things, but I think there really does come something with having an image. And so we are attempting to provide that type of service as well. So hopefully next week we'll have video to go with audio. But if you prefer the audio, that would be totally fantastic as well. So with that, we're going to go to another quick commercial. We have another couple of short segments, and then over to Kamal. So talk to you in about a minute and a half again. Five Star Basketball, the leader in basketball instruction and camps. Endorsed by Michael Jordan, Dick Vitale, and Hubie Brown, and where the teaching never stops. 5 Star Basketball Minnesota will be hosting a one-day instructional camp on May 18th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. and will be hosted by 5 Star, the McCarthy Project, and Grassroots Hoops. For more information on the camp, visit themccarthyproject.com/5-star. XL Athlete is the leading provider of online strength and conditioning and speed development camps. For more information on their training programs and speed development camps, visit xlathlete.com. We are excited to offer the following products on the McCarthyStore.com. Innovate Running Shoes, the leader in barefoot and natural running technology. We carry the full line of sizes and colors. Berkey Water Filters, the leader in anti-gravity water filtration. For more information, visit themccarthyproject.com or go directly to the McCarthy Project store website. That's www.themccarthyprojectstore.com. Well, we are back. And just coming back to the unity piece, I think that, to me, really does resonate inside of me. And over the last couple of breaks, I've been looking for something, and I want to bring up this book again. Hopefully everybody can see that. It's called Michael Johnson, Slaying the Dragon. Holy, there you go. Find out how to get it up there. And one of the things that I've found is there are so many positive thinking books in life, and they seem to come out by the thousands, probably even more than that now that you think about it. But there are so few that actually challenge the reality. Some are basically bragging sessions about how cool they were and how they were accomplishing the mission and how they did it at such a high level that they were better than everybody else. And if everybody wants to win, then they just need to do it at that high level too, and we all will be cool together. And it really does leave in there this certain entitlement or this certain over-positiveness. It's like, okay, if life was always that easy, then we all would be doing it. And I have to admit, to actually quote a book, I have actually read in my younger years thousands of positive thinking books, and every one of them had truth in it. But what I found was that I got too hyper positive, that I got off base reality. There is a point where you move so far beyond what is really happening that you're being ultra positive that I thought I could never fail. And when I did fail the first time, when I failed at a major level, I had failed a million times in between there, but I had failed at a major league level. And I'll give you an example. I was at the one point selling computers, and the life that I was living, I needed $30,000 to pay a bill. And I was so positive to think that I could just magically think positive and $30,000 was going to come in the next day. Actually, it was false. And you can only imagine what transpired is the $30,000 didn't come in. And that was the start of my downfall in the computer business. And how does that relate? Now you say, well, why would I bring that up related to sport? How does it work out in sport? And I think that gets back to what we talked about, is that so many people think so highly of themselves that they haven't taken the time to step back. They've been told that they've been a winner for their whole life, that they need to take a step and realize that there's a reality here. You need to take care of reality, and then the other pieces of the puzzle come. And I think why I bring this book up is called Michael Johnson, Slaying the Dragon. And on the book here, it's called What I Found Inside Myself. There we go, right there. And I think this is the piece of the puzzle. It says, just for a moment I felt finished. I couldn't believe my bad luck. Had I really Had I really worked that hard, refined my performance down to the millisecond, only to be beaten by wind and a bad lane assignment. Still, I tried to push that aside and concentrate on the work in front of me. I went to bed that night and thought to myself, these guys aren't better than I am. No matter what lane I'm in, it's still the 200 meters, and no one in the world is better than I am in the 200 meters. I can do this. And that's the piece of the puzzle, is that you can't sit there and get so whacked out when something doesn't go your way, or you get dealt a card that you weren't expecting. How does the Boston Marathon fit into that? Did those people get dealt a card that they weren't expecting? Yes. Did Stephenie Freemen get dealt a card when she was young that she wasn't expecting? Yes. Did I get dealt a card that I wasn't expecting when I was going through my life? Yes. And so many of these things, we need to realize that this doesn't make us bad people, that bad things happen. Bad things happen to everybody. And you have to be a realist enough to realize that those things happen and that you're going to be better for them. And not to say that I'm callous. I'm not even going to go there. I didn't go there because I think there's so many people making judgments on people in that unification piece that they're going to sit there and say, well, you just need to suck it up because you were involved in the bottom. There's great things going to be in store from you. No. There's time for sorrow. And so there's a whole range of emotions, and I'm going to stop right there. But with that being said, I think really you need to realize is that this is about life and sport. And what you learn outside of the time in sport, what we teach to our kids, what's happening in society, what information is being put in, is all going to affect those things. And there's no way that I can sit there any longer and just say, you know what, I got to take care of my own. Somewhere along the line, we have to start taking care of others. And this is the hardest part I've had because, like I said, I'm such an individual that I always wanted to say, well, screw it, I don't need them. Screw it, I don't need them. Screw it, I don't need them. Where in the end, yes, you do. You do need people. No matter how much we try to put that phone right in between there so we don't actually talk to people, we need people, and we need them. We need them to work together. We need as friends. We need as teammates. We need all those pieces. So hopefully those couple rants will help you out in your life, in athletics and in life, because those are things that I've learned. And I've realized that I couldn't go alone any longer. That just saying, screw it, I'm going to go on my own, isn't good enough anymore. We need to unify together under a common cause that everybody is taken care of. That's not communism. That's not something like that. That's not collectivism. That's just simply uniting under a true and positive thought that unifies, and we drop our differences and we unify towards something important. So, again, leads us to a whole other level of subject, but we're going to go to a quick commercial break and come back and just talk more about life and sport. Five Star Basketball, the leader in basketball instruction and camps, endorsed by Michael Jordan, Dick Vitale, and Hubie Brown, and where the teaching never stops. 5-Star Basketball Minnesota will be hosting a one-day instructional camp on May 18th from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. and will be hosted by 5-Star, the McCarthy Project, and Grassroots Hoops. For more information on the camp, visit themccarthyproject.com/5-star. XL Athlete is the leading provider of online strength and conditioning and speed development camps. For more information on their training programs and speed development camps, visit XLathlete.com. We are excited to offer the following products on the McCarthyStore.com. Innovate Running Shoes, the leader in barefoot and natural running technology. We carry the full line of sizes and colors. Berkey Water Filters, the leader in anti-gravity water filtration. For more information, visit themccarthyproject.com or go directly to the McCarthy Project store website. That's www.themccarthyprojectstore.com. Alrighty, we are back. I am Stephen McCarthy, your host of the McCarthy Project. Can't even tell you how amazing life can be if we take the time to get all the hate and the animosity and jealousy and selfishness, and we lay it down and unite behind something, I just can't even imagine, if we can get our teams, the teams we coach, our kids, our family, to come in a position where they will fight for a common cause and work together. I just can't even. It would be beautiful. It's probably the most beautiful thing that I could think of. When you have a team, I can imagine only with the Miami Heat, last year, well, actually 2 years ago, when they didn't win, and then they come back last year, and to see LeBron James, who probably was all everything and told he was the king since he was 12, how he was able to change how he lived life. What did he change? Because you could tell there was something different. Did he, and I don't have any inside knowledge on it, but what did he change? What did he put down in order to succeed? And I think that's the beautiful thing when you think about it, is what did LeBron James do during the Boston series, actually, that I thought I saw it, where they had gotten smoked after being ahead, and he was frustrated. You could just see it. Things weren't happening. But something inside of him changed. He made a decision on something. And then they went on the streak, and they were able to win the finals last year. So I wonder, maybe if somebody does know that answer, they could give us a call at 612-741-0982 if they've got some inside information, on what LeBron James did, or maybe they were with him when he did make that decision. So from that standpoint, that's to me the essence of a player that could have just said, you know what, I am the man, I'm the king, I've been told that since I was 12, I should just take over. Sure. But how are you going to get your team to work with you if you just say, I'm going to go on my own? I just don't see everybody, because there's a lot of people in the NBA that really think that they are the goods too. So what do you think he did? That is a great question. So hopefully one day we find out what LeBron James did during the finals, or actually the semifinals, or however name that they give that nowadays, basically the Eastern Conference Championships, however they look at it. But what did LeBron James do? What decision did he make that changed? Was he tired of getting bounced around? Did he just say enough's enough? Did he actually put something down, said, hey, I don't need to do it all anymore. I can maybe depend upon my teammates, and therefore my skills will be amplified if I depend upon somebody? Interesting thoughts. All right. So with that, we're going to go to one more commercial break. We are just waiting to get Kamal squared away and have him on the board, because I'm looking forward to hearing what he's got. Got some really cool things I want to ask him about unity and what it takes to be a team. And if you want to check him out, I think he's got some really cool YouTube videos. They're really short, but he's doing some serious work with some chains and a medicine ball that we have a picture up on our site as well. But you need to check those out. That's some pretty serious stuff. So with that, we're going to go to a quick break, and we'll be back on the other side. 5-Star Basketball,